Indeed, he was the object of David W. Harper's greatest hatred. On October 4, 1961, David W. Harper was born in Abilene, Texas. Located in the center of Texas, Abilene is renowned for its small-town charm and Western heritage. Because he was raised in such a setting, Harper may have gained a reputation for being modest and grounded in both his actual life and his playing roles. His childhood in Texas and his Hollywood years were completely different. Nevertheless, when he was young, fate would introduce him to the realms of television and film. Harper's role as Jim Bob Walton in the 1971 television film The Homecoming: A Christmas Story marked the beginning of his acting career. In the large, devoted Walton family, Jim Bob was the second youngest child. This heartwarming film was adapted from Earl Hamner Jr.'s novel. If you're enjoying this video, don't forget to like, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more amazing content. And hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Now, back to the topic. What we were talking about was... It was favorably received by critics and fans, so CBS decided to make it a weekly TV program. Harper was selected to reprise his role as Jim Bob when the entire Walton's television series began broadcasting in 1972. Jim Bob was a creative, sometimes mischievous child who enjoyed doing manual labor and frequently aspired to be a pilot. Harper was a popular favorite because he gave Jim Bob a genuine, youthful vibe. His ability to convey emotion and sincerity, despite his youth, was crucial to the success of the play. Harper's character evolved from a little kid to an adolescent and finally to a young adult across the 9 seasons of the show. His development was visible to viewers in real time. A valued part of American television history, the program aired from 1972 to 1981. Harper appeared in nearly every episode and contributed to the development of the familial ties that were so crucial to the appeal of the program. His role in the show went beyond simply playing. It was a photograph of the show portrayed values like honesty, strength, and deep family ties while being set amid difficult times like the Great Depression and World War II. Harper continued to perform, albeit less frequently, when the Waltons concluded in 1981. He starred in the Civil War drama The Blue and the Gray, a 1982 TV miniseries with a sizable ensemble cast. Harper was able to attempt writing stories that were more sophisticated and nuanced outside of the Waltons' realm. He also had a brief role in the 1985 comedy mystery film Fletch, starring Chevy Chase, a few years later. Although Harper didn't have much on-screen time in Fletch, it was an opportunity to demonstrate his versatility as an actor who could play both funny and dramatic parts. Following these roles in the Waltons, Harper gradually quit performing. While many of his fellow child stars went on to achieve great success in Hollywood, Harper opted to lead a more modest and quiet life away from the spotlight. He did not, however, totally distance himself from the world that had brought him fame. He appeared in several Waltons reunion shows with other cast members in the 1980s and 1990s. Together, they discussed the cherished figures and touching tales that had played a significant role in their early years. The reason fans attended these shows was to remember the actors who had gotten close after working together for a long time. The performers also gathered to discuss their recollections of their time spent together. In recent years, Harper has primarily avoided the spotlight. He has made the decision not to pursue a well-known position in the entertainment industry. He would rather lead a peaceful life free from the pressures of celebrity. There is a possibility that he is still alive. Harper occasionally attends Waltons-themed events, such as cast reunions, fan conventions, and collectibles and memorabilia exhibitions, where he greets and embraces devoted viewers. These infrequent public appearances are frequently anticipated by show fans who still have strong feelings for the characters and the performers who portrayed them. After she quit performing, Harper experimented with a variety of occupations. In order to find personal fulfillment in her career, she took this action. Ultimately, he made the reasonable and grounded decision to attend college and pursue a business degree, demonstrating his thoughtfulness and his desire for a secure, productive life. Despite never returning to full-time acting, Harper's legacy endures because of his iconic appearances in one of the most well-known family series on television. People of all ages are still moved by his portrayal of Jim Bob Walton. His life story demonstrates that success and happiness may be found in a variety of ways outside of Hollywood fame. The 1997 TV film A Walton Easter was David W. Harper's final noteworthy contribution to the entertainment industry. He reprised his role as Jim Bob Walton, the youngest son of John and Olivia Walton, in this lovely holiday special. His most well-known portion is this. Harper saw this comeback to his iconic role as the ideal way to wrap up his acting career. It put an end to his lengthy association with the show and a role that generations of fans had adored. Decades after the original series concluded, a series of reunion films, including A Walton Easter, revived the Walton family as they transitioned into new phases of life in America following World War II. Both Harper's career as a Hollywood star and the part he had been playing for nearly a decade came to an end. After the Waltons ended and Harper's time in the spotlight began to lessen, he decided to give up acting and lead a more normal life. Harper chose to concentrate on his studies rather than trying to maintain his celebrity like some child stars do. After attending college and studying business, he would eventually move away from television and into a simpler, more private lifestyle. He maintained contact with some of his former co-stars during this period of transition. He reportedly drove for Eric Scott, who portrayed his on-screen brother Ben Walton, for instance. Scott was now managing a prosperous shipping company after focusing on his business. In contrast to the glitzy life in Hollywood, Harper's labor for the corporation demonstrated that he was prepared to lead a straightforward, hard-working life. Harper subsequently obtained a new position as an art dealer in Los Angeles, according to a 2022 Daily Mail report. Despite keeping the specifics of his business operations under wraps because he dislikes being the center of attention, Harper appears to have established himself in the art world. One of your primary responsibilities as an art buyer is to has a strong appreciation for creativity and the arts, which may have resulted from their early employment in entertainment. When asked about his childhood as a child star, Harper reportedly remarked, "I realized we grew up surrounded by adults, but I'm glad I was on the show." This succinct but enlightening statement highlights the particular issues that young artists encounter since they are frequently assigned to work with adults at an early age. Even though Harper may have been pressured by his early stardom, he remembers his time on the Waltons with gratitude and love. The Waltons stands out among the many significant events that have occurred in the history of American television. During the Great Depression and World War II, the show, which ran from 1972 to 1981, chronicled the life of a close-knit family in rural Virginia. This event took place specifically between the spring of 1933 and June 1946. The show's creator, Earl Hamner Jr., drew inspiration from his own childhood and family, who grew up in the town of Schuyler, Virginia. Hamner's family consisted of 8 children, including 7 brothers. Additionally, the Walton family in the book was modeled off this real-life family dynamic. In Hamner's household, each of the Walton children had a sister who fulfilled a comparable function. As a result, the show's familial warmth and emotional depth seemed even more genuine. Despite being set in the stunning Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia, the majority of the filming was done outside of the Appalachians. The majority of the work was completed at Warner Brothers Studios in Burbank, California. Walton's Mountain became a representation of the show's rustic appeal in outside scenes. But in reality, it was a Hollywood Hills slope that had been artfully landscaped to resemble the countryside of Virginia. The production team created an environment that felt ageless and authentically rural by utilizing both expert photography and set design. The setting felt like a genuine home because of this attention to detail, which allowed individuals from all over the nation to emotionally connect with it. David W. Harper is remembered by viewers of the Waltons for his empathetic portrayal of Jim Bob Walton, the youngest son of a Great Depression-era Virginia family. Behind the scenes, though, he harbored a long-standing animosity toward Richard Thomas, who portrayed Jim Bob's older brother John Boy Walton. Their characters enjoyed happy moments together as brothers on TV, but their real lives were far more complex. Philosophical arguments, rage, and almost no personal chemistry were all present. It was claimed that Thomas made Harper feel less significant from the beginning of the series, notwithstanding Harper's extreme privacy and modesty. John Boy, a contemplative aspiring writer whose journey served as the focal point of the Waltons, was the original inspiration for the character. Therefore, Thomas was the obvious star and received the majority of the attention from the press, authors, directors, and even studio executives. Harper enjoyed acting, but the way Thomas was praised both on and off film was starting to irritate him. According to a number of crew members, Harper would frequently gripe in private about Jim Bob's lack of progress in comparison to his own. This led him to believe that the younger cast members' opportunities were hindered by Thomas's reputation. What Harper perceived as Thomas's pride was another source of tension. Harper felt that Thomas sounded arrogant, even though he was renowned for his intelligence and clarity of speech. Thomas was too exhausted and conceited to be around, particularly at screenplay readings or promotional events. Harper disliked Hollywood culture and preferred simplicity, thus she was irritated by Thomas's theatrical ego and dramatic approach. A violent situation resulted from their disparate personalities. Harper considered himself modest and grounded, whereas Thomas was conceited, domineering, and frequently disparaged the other players. When they weren't together, Harper reportedly objected to Thomas's apparent use of his celebrity to influence his creative decisions. Rumors circulated on the set that Thomas had a say in which plotlines received more attention and which episodes centered on John Boy. Harper felt that this was unjust. As Thomas emerged as the show's face, Harper felt less like a member of the main group. Harper felt particularly bad since he wanted to demonstrate Jim Bob's complexity and loved playing him, but he was never given the opportunity. While Richard Thomas's character received incredibly significant and emotionally charged material season after season, Harper was frequently given supporting or comedic roles. A dispute behind the scenes is reported to have escalated into a full-fledged argument during the filming of a particularly poignant episode in 1975. In their tight relationship, this might have been the worst time. Harper's complaints about scenes being altered to benefit Thomas were becoming more frequent. According to reports, he requested that the rest of the ensemble be treated more equally and accused Thomas of defrauding the producers. One of the few occasions he got into a fight was this one. Harper became even more irate when Thomas dismissed her, according to a team member who wished to remain anonymous. Other than what was required for the action, the two men didn't speak much after that. After Thomas left the Waltons in 1977 to pursue other acting endeavors, Harper's feelings remained unchanged. Harper was conspicuously silent, while other cast members stayed in touch with Thomas or at least spoke of his talent in interviews. He never spoke kindly of Thomas in public. Over the years, when he did speak, it was usually about something other than his former co-star. According to insiders, Harper reportedly told a buddy that he could forgive practically everyone he worked with in Hollywood, with the exception of Richard Thomas. One of Harper's quotes is, "He always had to be the smartest guy in the room. He never once inquired about the well-being of the rest of us." Harper's wounds from her past were too deep to mend. In a rare and intimate interview, a former crew member stated, "Harper may have been the face of the Waltons, but he never made it feel like a family to me." Many people still admire Richard Thomas, who is still doing well on stage and television, but David W. Harper has left the limelight and is currently leading a peaceful life away from the theater industry. His altercation with Thomas is still bitterly remembered by many who knew him during the Waltons era. Even the most perfect on-screen families can conceal serious, unresolved emotional issues, as this conflict demonstrates. Rifts. If you enjoyed this in-depth look at the history of classic TV shows, please like, comment, and subscribe for more never-before-told behind-the-scenes stories from your favorite shows.